Much more to come. About 2 feet could pile up before all is said and done tomorrow night. The blizzard is hitting other parts of the East Coast very hard. States of emergency have been declared in parts of New Jersey and in all of West Virginia. In fact, the National Guard is standing by in both of those states to offer assistance. Snow totals about a foot in Washington, about 10 inches in Baltimore. And we have a live report now from our Trish Bergen. She's standing by at an area food town. There's been quite a rush to supermarkets all across the island, folks trying to stock up before the storm hits. Trish?
Greg, that's absolutely right. We're at Food Town in Plainview, where shoppers are just making a mad dash to buy their groceries. Braving frigid temperatures, they're turning out. Many shoppers were forced to stand outside the grocery store because, as the manager told us, there are simply no shopping carts available. Now, lines run from the cash register to the back of the store, and shoppers told us they feared of being snowed in, so they came out to get all the necessities.
Milk, cheese, ice cream, soda, really the kind of things you drive out in bad weather to get.
It's bad, real bad. I've never seen it so bad. The worst I've ever seen it. Even the holidays wasn't this bad.
Now, Greg and Walt, if shoppers are planning to come out now to buy their groceries, it's getting a little more difficult because as the snow starts to pile up on the ground, shoppers are finding that their shopping carts are just having a little bit of a tough time getting through the parking lots. We're live in Plainview. Trish Bergen, News 12 Long Island. Let's go back to you now, Greg and Walt, in the studio.
All right, Trish, thanks. You know, Greg, my wife went to the store this morning and said that the line extended from the checkout counter literally to the back of the store. So
Boy.
People are really out there.
They heard how much we were going to get, and they rushed right out.
Hopefully things will quiet down in the next hour or so as people just want to get off the roads. Let's see how bad it is right now and how bad it might get with Joe Cioffi at the map. Joe.
Well, guys, we got a long way to go because we're just getting started. There's about an inch or so on the ground in most spots, a little bit less as you head into Suffolk County. But you ain't seen nothing yet. We're just getting started. The big snows, and you can on the radar loop, they're coming up. Down from central New Jersey, Newark has moderate snow with 3/8 of a mile visibility, and it's moderate to heavy snow everywhere across southern New Jersey. Look at these yellows and reds. That's incredible intensity that is coming up. You get that tropical, that rich tropical moisture comes into the bitter cold air, and the atmosphere just can't handle it, and it just starts dumping out all this snow. And it's one of those rare instances where every ingredient just comes together. You have to remember, folks, just to put this into perspective, and we'll just move along here. We go many times an entire winter without seeing a storm like this, and we have gone entire winters not having total snowfall for a whole 4-month season that we're going to get out of this one single storm. Just take an entire winter's worth of storms, climb into one, and you may very well see it out here. All of this dark green, so that's a steady moderate snow or a borderline moderate snow over Long Island. The darker greens right around Trenton, Morristown. Newark's right about here, so they're on the edge of the heavy snow. Wrightstown has heavy snow. Heavy snow down at Atlantic City as that rain-snow line begins to creep slowly northward from Maryland into southernmost Delaware. Not an issue for us in this forecast, though. Temperatures in the teens, a couple of spots now inching up toward the 20-degree mark as West Hampton Beach is at 20 at Great Neck. When we get into those heavy snows in the next few hours, these temperatures will probably drop off another degree or two. So the issue with the temperatures for us is that it's another ingredient for a blizzard, and that you have to have temperatures in the teens to near 20. Here's our satellite loop. Moisture from the Gulf of Mexico right on up to the northeast. Right back through here in Kentucky, that twisting motion continues to be the very strong upper air storm, and this feature is becoming, the storm system is becoming the dominating force in the atmosphere throughout the United States, in that energy in the Pacific Northwest that would normally be strong enough to take this system and just kick it out and get rid of it, or at least move it along. It doesn't have the strength to do it. We have to wait probably until later tomorrow or tomorrow evening before this whole thing just finally begins to shift eastward off the New England coast. So blizzard conditions, we'll have near blizzard conditions this afternoon. We will definitely have full blizzard conditions tonight and for at least half of tomorrow into tomorrow afternoon. And when it's all said and done, there are going to be 2-foot-plus snows just about everywhere. So folks, just try. If you don't have to go out, just stay indoors, especially tonight if we have whiteout conditions. Heavy snow and windy this afternoon, 15 to 22. And then tonight, when we really get into the heavy snow, we'll be putting it down at 2 to 3 inches an hour easily. Blinding snows, gale force winds, and more of the same tomorrow, 18 to 24. If we have to up these numbers, it's hard to believe that we could actually conceive of raising the 18 to 24 and get to the point where it really an extra couple inches here and there is not going to make a huge amount of difference. 22 to 27. Now, the coastal water is very important. Storm warnings are up. Coastal flood warnings also in effect. Northeast winds 30 to 50 knots. 12-foot seas on the ocean, 8 on the sound. The bay's rough. Visibility near 0. Water temperatures near 40. For the high tides, now these are the early morning, Monday morning high tides. These are the high tides I think that are critical. Tonight's evening high tides, there should be some minor coastal flooding, but I don't think there should be anything worse than that because the storm still has not had enough time to really crank up. But tonight, when that storm moves within 200 or 300 miles, or late tonight or tomorrow morning, when it moves within 200 or 300 miles of our south shore, it's the daytime tides tomorrow that could be a big problem. So we've picked some points out here for you. Greenport, Port Jefferson, Montauk on the north shore, Freeport, Fire Island, Shinnecock, and Montauk on the south shore. The tide spots in between, they're pretty close to some of these numbers. They'll be off by a couple of minutes because we can't really give every single point on the island. Otherwise, we'd be here for the rest of the day. Walt?
All right, Joe, thanks. Well, the snow is already causing some big problems on the roadways. Let's take you out now to the Northern State Parkway at IU Willits Road, and you can see the lack of visibility out there. The roads are snow-covered and slippery. We have reports of spin-outs all across the Northern State, a number of minor accidents. In one 10-minute span, in fact, there were 4 different fender benders. The best advice, of course, stay home if you can. If you are driving, be very careful, especially on the side roads. But even the major roads like the LIE has some problems. It is icy pretty much the entire length right now. The big thing, watch your speed. A number of people out there are doing that, but there are still a couple who are driving at the speed limit or above. I saw as on my way in this afternoon. That's just dangerous. You've got to respect the road conditions out there. Also, most of the cars out there, as you can see, do have their lights on. That is the law if you have your wipers on, but make sure you have your lights on. It's hard enough to see you if you have lights on. If you have lights off, literally no one will see you until, unfortunately, they may run into you.
Great advice. And one individual who was out on the roadways this afternoon is our Susan Jellig. Susan, what are the conditions out there?
Well, Greg, the roads are snow-covered, and you may recall, well, everybody knows that just last week or so we had snow, and some roads still have ice, so the snow is going on top of the ice. Any quick acceleration and you slide. So drivers are being cautious. I'm out with photographer Glenn Pettit, and he was shooting some video at an intersection where about 7 people slammed into a curb. Also, you might think that in a blizzard-type condition, people would stay home, but surprisingly, there's a fair amount of traffic on the road from what we've seen here. Right now, we're on Route 135 in Bethpage.
Wow, that was my next question, Susan, if you saw a number of cars out there, but I guess you have.
Yeah, I mean, the roads are not empty. It's not heavy traffic, but there's a steady flow of cars where we are.
What are the roadways that you've been traveling on, just to give our viewers an indication of where you've seen what you just described?
Okay, we were in Huntington on Jericho Turnpike, and we were on Route 109 in Babylon and elsewhere in Babylon, and that's what we've seen so far.
Just one last thing. Have you spotted any Sanders, Salters, plows out thus far?
Yes, we have. In fact, we saw one just about 5-10 minutes ago.
Okay. Susan Jellig out on the roadways this afternoon. Be careful, get home safe.
We'll try.
And let's see what else is happening today. We have a situation where the airports have some problems to deal with as well.
That's right. As you would expect, air travel is being affected. Now, right now, the Port Authority says both LaGuardia and JFK airports are open, but they warn that there are numerous flights being canceled.
Port Authority says the best thing to do is just call ahead to find out about cancellations or flights that have been delayed. MacArthur Airport also is open, but again, call ahead there as well.
And of course, it's not just the New York City airports, but you have significant snowfall in the Washington, D.C. area and elsewhere on the Northeast and East Coast. So you have to be aware if you're expecting someone that the problem is not just the weather here, but the weather where they're coming from or at their connecting location as well.
That's right. Let's go to some closings now, Walt.
All right, we have a number of them to tell you about for today and for tomorrow. For today, let's begin in Lawrence, where public schools are canceling their continuing education classes, while the Saul Center School in Oakdale is canceling all classes for tomorrow. It's also asked boarding students not to return to the school tonight. Brentwood Public Library is closed, The Bayshore Brightwaters Public Library closed as well. Oyster Bay East Norwich Public Library also closed. The Mid-Island YJCC will close at 3 this afternoon and will be closed again tomorrow. The Suffolk Y Jewish Community Center will close at 3 this afternoon. It will be closed for the remainder of the evening. The Long Island Flute Club is canceling its concert. That concert was scheduled for this afternoon at the Centerport United Methodist Church. It is now canceled. Minetto Hill Jewish Center also canceling all youth and group meetings for today and tomorrow. All Long Island Developmental Center activities canceled. The Suffolk OTB has canceled its Holiday on Ice program at Hidden Pond Park. Those are the complete list of cancellations for today. Greg, how about for tomorrow?
For tomorrow, St. Anthony's High School will be closed. St. Edward's Confessor School in Syosset will be closed. Temple Judeo of Massapequa canceling all religious education classes tomorrow. And the Center for Rehabilitation is closing all of its offices tomorrow. Some other notes, the town of Riverhead is asking that all parked vehicles be removed from the roads. And the town of Oyster Bay and the town of North Hempstead and the village of Southampton have all declared snow emergencies. If you live in those areas and your car is parked on the roadways, you should get those out of the way because plowing will be very difficult otherwise.
So travel out there is pretty much treacherous, and it's only going to get worse. So probably the best advice above and beyond obeying the speed limit and going even below the speed limit is if you don't absolutely have to go out there, don't.
Of course, News 12 will bring you updates on the blizzard situation throughout the afternoon and through the evening tonight, so stay with us.